All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to Giving Tuesday. It's a International Day of Global Generosity. I'm Lindsay Kolsch. I'm joined here by Chad Moses, who's our Director of Outreach. We are so excited because today is a big day. It's a day where we get to kind of be joined by the global forces of people saying generosity matters. That means it's a giving season. That means that it's a day where we at To Write Love on Her Arms are also focusing on the generosity of our stories, of our mental health experiences, and elevating the conversation about mental health. So you might be seeing, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, or you're in Twitter and you're seeing us going live, you're going to see that hashtag Giving Tuesday. So if you're new to Giving Tuesday, that's what that's all about. We do have a very quick couple of housekeeping announcements before we dive into what this next hour is going to look like. Is that okay, Chad, if I give some quick updates for folks tuning in?
Hey, why even do this if we don't have rules?
Okay, we do have the TWLOHA Team responding on those channels that I just mentioned. So if you're watching on Facebook, welcome. If you're watching on Twitch, welcome. If you are watching on YouTube, welcome. So many places across the internet. If you have a comment or a question, feel free to drop those in there. We have our team sending us those questions. We are hoping that we will get to our Q&A within the hour that we have with you today. So we are going to be on until noon Eastern Standard. And if you're on the West Coast, thanks for waking up early and joining us for this live. Or maybe you're international and you're staying up late to catch this. Either way, we're super grateful that you're here. So feel free to comment, interact on those channels. This is meant to be sort of a conversation as much as it is sort of Chad and I talking. We're going to be sharing a little bit about what you're going to hear here in a second. But I do have a couple more updates, so bear with me. The team is going to be dropping into the chat ways that you can get involved today for Giving Tuesday. One of the main ways you can help support To Write Love on Her Arms is by making a donation. We have a Facebook fundraiser that is live right now. We have a end of year campaign that got kicked off today. And those links, if you're on YouTube or in Twitch, that's the best place to donate. Some also very exciting news from our warehouse is that we have extended the Cyber Monday sale. So if you are looking to support To Write Love on Her Arms with your holiday shopping, it's extended. Cyber Monday is 30. That's 30% off the online store. And then last but not least, I don't know that we've announced it in other social platforms, so tell me if I'm wrong. We are now on TikTok. And if you are on TikTok, check us out at TWLOHA, at TWLOHA. Check us out because we are sharing content there. And in the next couple of days, there'll be some really exciting announcements that we hope to make sort of about our partnership with TikTok, sharing these conversations in that platform, and really keeping this going. Hope is going to live on into 21. That's what today is about, Chad. So that's all my housekeeping updates. Hopefully that wasn't too much. I'm going to kick it to you to sort of let folks know what this hour is all about. What are we doing? Why are we even here?
Yeah, so like you said, this is Giving Tuesday, which kicks off kind of a giving season. Linz, I've heard you describe it in the past that Giving Tuesday is really a way to kind of reinvest some good karma after all the capitalism, after all the buying season of Cyber Monday and Black Friday and all those sales that keep going on and on and on. Well, this is really a day, like you mentioned, of generosity. So today we're inviting you into that generosity. The fact of the matter is everything that we've been able to accomplish this year has been fueled by you. So we want to take some time to celebrate you, celebrate how far we've come this year. But yeah, we're going to be connecting with a couple members from our team this morning. We're going to, of course, be continuing to share ways in which you can get involved. Our responding team is dropping all sorts of links there. You mentioned we're on TikTok, and if you are not yet on TikTok, you can join us there. We're newbies. You can be newbies right along with us, so it's free to sign up for an account there. But like you mentioned, we are kicking off our Into 21 campaign. And our goal is to raise $175,000 by the time New Year's Eve comes to an end. So by 11:59 p.m. on December 31st, we're hoping to have $175,000 more dollars to make 2021 the best year that we can imagine. So you can help today. We have a goal of raising $10,000 just today, and we firmly believe that with your help, we can get there. It can be as easy as just adding that donate button to the Facebook page that you're watching this on, or the TikTok page, or the Twitch page that you are watching this on. And of course, if you have any questions, just drop a comment and our team will get back to you.
Yeah, that's a great point. And today, you know, we're emphasizing giving and generosity, just so you kind of get a sense of what even a $25 donation will do. When you give $25, that's going to help us connect 600 people to Hope and Help. That helps us basically connect those 600 people through our website, our blog, our podcast, our social media. 600 people are reached with this message of conversations about mental health, personal stories about mental health, resources, ways that you can help educate yourself on what you or a friend are going through. That's really important. Let's say you can give $50 today. That means we're going to be able to expand our digital presence online for high school students and university students. This year has been unlike any other year, if I can put it like mildly. And every student is facing so many different challenges. And so, you know, giving that $50, we're going to be able to create new programming that tailors their experience, some of our programs, and translates it online. And so it's a great way to invest in students right now. But I'm just grateful that you're tuning in. I'm grateful that you guys are here to engage in this conversation on a day when there are so many other ways to invest your energy. So if you're tuning in, thank you. Most nonprofits participate in Giving Tuesday, and while we love that, and if there are other causes that are close to your heart, we totally endorse and ask you to think about how you can give to those charities. Maybe it's even a local charity, but we're grateful that you're here and that you're investing in this conversation and in To Write Love on Her Arms. So that's a little bit about how your donation can make an impact. And I think Chad has a really, really good point. Do not underestimate the power of sharing a bit about your story, or sharing just that you're supporting To Write Love and adding a donate button. Facebook and some of these other platforms are elevating these opportunities for people to get involved today. I should just go ahead and mention, I hope it's okay, Chad, I'm skipping ahead just here a little bit. Facebook is matching donations. So they have pledged $7 million to nonprofits in the US. And the first $2 million was dollar for dollar. And then the next $5 million is going to be a percentage of match, which is going to help all the nonprofits that are raising money today get a little piece of that pie. So if you are giving on Facebook, there are 0 processing fees. That means every cent of your donation is coming straight to Write Love on Her Arms. And you'll have the chance for that to be matched. So I know that sounds kind of wild, but it really will increase your impact. So don't count that out, even if it's $5, $10. We always say every dollar matters in this conversation to reach people with mental health. So I wanted to just plug the Facebook matching gift. That is super awesome. If you are giving on our website, obviously that doesn't apply. However, you can still give there, and that is going to go to supporting To Write Love on Her Arms today and helping us get towards that goal, because we've got a special little micro goal by the end of this hour, and I'm going to ask you to share that, Chad.
Yeah, so if we are able to raise $3,500 by noon Eastern, so basically by the end of this broadcast, then we're going to pick a winner from the Facebook comments and the Twitch chat and YouTube comments. So regardless of where you're watching this, you could be in the pot already. And the prize is a TWLOHA shirt of your choice. So my opinion doesn't matter. Lindsay's opinion doesn't matter. It's all about what you want. So again, the goal is if we hit $3,500 by the end of the stream, someone out there watching right now is going to have a chance to add to their TWLOHA wardrobe.
And I think, Chad, where did we start? We were at this morning about $2,400.
That sounds about right. If we want to, round up, I think we were maybe a $20 bill short of that. But again, I believe in this audience.
Yeah, our team will be keeping us posted. So comment. You can actually, one way that really does help extend the reach of the fundraiser on Facebook, that the team is linked there if you're in Facebook, is to go into the fundraiser and share it from there. That will kind of clue Facebook's algorithm that this matters to you, and your community is going to see that. And so we are so grateful again that you would just show up, that you would be catching this live. And for the folks who are tuning in just a little bit later, that still applies to you. You can still share. We've got some other conversations that we're sort of also kind of wrapping around this energy, this push to support the mission financially. Chad, I'd love for you to share a little bit about this day also not being just about finances, because we do realize that not every person is going to be in a position this year to be able to give. If you are, that's fantastic, and we're grateful for any gift. But generosity can expand beyond a financial scope. And so I'd love to kind of talk a little bit about that, if you're okay, Chad, just to kind of, let's just talk about generosity and what that means sort of broadly and how that relates to mental health right now.
For sure. So, I mean, that generous spirit can take on so many different manifestations. I like to say often that there's 7 billion people or thereabouts on the planet. That means that generosity is going to manifest in about 7 billion different ways. That the kind of sacred nature of your own life, of your own journey, your own story, that is something that we believe deserves an audience, that we believe people deserve to be connected to more people. So you can carry that, that attitude of generosity forward in a number of ways. It's not just financial. At the end of the day, to write love, our mission statement is not to bring in X amount of dollars each year. Our mission statement is to make sure that people feel a little bit less alone. People feel connected, heard, and valued. So today and throughout the season, you can be generous with your own mental health story. You can entrust a piece of that story, not just online, but with people in your community. This can be a hard season, especially with the pandemic still looming over us, that this is a time where we need proximity more than ever. And perhaps a great way to do that is in whatever way you feel comfortable, just sharing a little bit about your story. How has this year treated you? What are some aspects of hope that have surprised you this year and things that you're looking forward to into the next? You can be generous by checking in with friends and family. That is such an easy and accessible thing, but it's almost too easy and too accessible that we overlook it. So maybe just finding 5 minutes today to send a text to someone that you haven't chatted with in a while. I guarantee that's going to bring a smile to their day. And beyond that, be generous with yourself. Extend compassion to yourself. The same thing that you are hoping to communicate to others out of love and compassion and community, you are worthy of those same things. So pace yourself. It's okay if this season doesn't feel like go, 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 or productivity is through the roof. Like, no one's expecting that of you. So take some time to be good to yourself. Beyond that, we've already mentioned it several times, but never underestimate like just the simple action of sharing, of clicking that repost, of when I'm on the road in any year that isn't 2020, one of my favorite questions to ask people that visit the booth are, how'd you find out about us? And almost never do they say, oh, well, I learned about To Write Love through a former intern or through a current staff member. No, they learn about it through people in their community. They learn through people sharing Instagram posts, or they learn about it through Facebook birthday fundraisers or stuff like that. So you never know when just pushing a simple button literally can really push an emotional button in someone else to give them the courage to reach out for the help that they deserve. So again, the theme is be generous in whatever way that makes sense, not just today, but throughout the rest of the season as well.
And Chad, I just wanted to echo, because I was thinking about that today on the way into the office here. as we're very quiet, getting ready for the live stream and thinking about how often we do hear, or I have heard personally, whether I'm fundraising or maybe resharing something from Trite Love's Instagram or Facebook, and someone says, I really needed to hear that. I really needed to think about that idea, or I needed to take that moment for myself. And so you don't know what kind of permission you're giving somebody to be honest in those moments, but it can be such a moment of connection and joy in a time where it feels like perhaps you're the only one that still is feeling the weight of the pandemic, or maybe the weight of disconnection from physical proximity. You know, I think it's okay for us to still be honest about this year, even though there seems to maybe be this sense like we're gonna make it through this, we're gonna get there together. We hope that at least at the end of this hour, you'll see the good that has come from a year that has been unlike any other. We're really, really grateful that you're here. And I know that our team that's about to share, our comms team, have really helped sort of continue to drive these conversations online. But again, we just want to echo the thanks, the gratitude, the generosity that is happening right now, whether you're donating or you're posting with the donate button, all of these acts. And then don't let those other small acts of generosity with yourself or with your family or friends go unnoticed. We would love to see that online today. We would love to see those posts. I'm being generous for Giving Tuesday, hashtag Giving Tuesday, by bringing mental health conversations into 21. And we'll get a little bit more into sort of how you can participate in that larger mental health conversation. But I think generosity today is great. So we have just a quick update. We're about $1,000 away to get from that $3,500. I think we can do that. We are going to kind of transition now and bring on some special team members. Chad, I'm going to let you do the intro because I'm going to pop off so they pop on.
For sure. Yeah. So these are some real sheroes in my life, in my point of view. This year, like we've said, has been unlike any other. It hasn't just been about the pandemic. It's been about distance. It's been about taking time to acknowledge some other cracks that exist within our communities, within our societies, with BIPOC communities, and really all the ways that there are barriers to accessing sense of connection and the help that we believe you deserve. So all throughout this year, my friends Katie and Bianca have been staffing our incredibly active social media presence. So Katie here is our social media manager, and Bianca is here serving us on that social media capacity as our community care coordinator. So y'all, it's so good to see you. I miss seeing you face to face. But hey, I'll take it on StreamYard. Y'all got time for a few questions? I'm sure you do, because we intentionally blocked this time off.
It's weird. It's weird to be on camera and not just behind the scenes in this situation, but yes.
Katie has been our executive producer for every live event of this magnitude that we've done this year. We've come a long way through her hard work. But yeah, you know, like I just mentioned, this year has been one really kind of defined by a limited sense of outreach and what we are accustomed to. So again, these are people and Katie and Bianca that have made any sense of outreach possible this year. And this year we have been able to reach more than 10 million people online each and every single month, which is mind-blowing to me. So I'm curious to get y'all's perspective. What is different about this year as it relates to the conversations and the quality of interactions and the depth that people are really kind of sharing in their own life as they're relying on technology and social media?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, being in social media world and part of the conversation all the time is, it's ongoing. And I'm somebody who, I was in college when Facebook started. So watching this technological growth over the last, I'm not going to say how many years since I was in college, but you know, it's been amazing to see, even just from the time of you had to be in college with a college email address in order to use Facebook, to now anyone anywhere can access it and get connected to people. It's amazing. So I think this year, just being able to see even more than usual, the way that people have been using social media to interact with each other. Our comment section at To Write Love is honestly a place where, for the most part, you can go and read the comments and it's going to be fine. There's a lot of encouragement. And, you know, we have a team of people, our comms intern, Maddie, who has been with us all year thanks to coronavirus, and some of our other members of staff, Ben and Aaron in particular, Bianca as well. I hop on when I can and when I'm needed, but we are a community response team, and so we, as an organization, have always had a goal of interacting with as many people as possible, and commenting, responding to comments, sharing encouragement and hope. And this year we've been able to have a little bit more fun with it too, and respond to some of the lighter things. And especially as we've opened up conversations with posts for people to share the things that they're finding hope in. And, you know, people talk about things like their dogs, and we love dogs at TWLOHA. So being able to interact and talk about that has been fun. But I think most of all, you know, watching the other members of our community reach out to each other. And that has always happened, but I think that it's kind of climbed to another level, just like our interactions as an organization have climbed to another level. And that people have been more open, more honest with how they're feeling. And there's so many more people who are willing to hop in and say, me too, or this was me last week and here's what helped me. And I think that's been the important part, is that it's not just a, hey, you're not alone in this and let's be feeling whatever it is we're feeling together, but also here are the things that I've found that have been helpful and how do we continue to move forward together. So that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I think a huge thing that you're just kind of hinting towards there, Katie, is that whenever you feel the need or the ability to say me too to a statement, you're never going to be the only me too in the room either. And I think that's one thing that y'all just so excelled at this year, is in creating so many different avenues for people to feel welcome and invited into sharing their story as they feel able. Bianca, just a kind of a tangent to that point, I'm curious, what has been the most surprising thing to you? What's been, I guess, another way to say it, is the biggest surprise in how people have showed up for one another?
I think it's in line with what Katie was saying about how people hop in and support each other. The ways that they support each other have varied so widely. I mean, people will literally say, like, I am willing to buy some merch and send it your way. It's incredible the ways that people do not hold back in showing support and making sure that somebody knows that they're not alone. It could be a stranger from across the world, and there's always somebody that is willing to say, like, hey, I'm here for you and let me show you that. We also have people that always say, my DMs are open. And the amount of supporters who have actually said, like, I'm going to friend request you, I'm going to message you, I'm going to send you an email, it's really consistent. So it's cool to see that the community is not only saying they're there for each other, they're actually putting into practice and showing up on a daily basis and putting literally like their money where their mouth is. And I don't think we see that in a lot of communities. So I'm just really proud to, one, to be a part of that, but also to be able to represent it here right now, and to thank everybody for the ways that they're supporting each other in however way they can. I think that's really, like, that's hope. That's what our work is. That's what our mission is. And it's just, I could have never, like, even imagined that would happen, but it does. And so I'm just really proud of our community for that.
Yeah, and as am I, and as we should be, honestly. And I think if we had to kind of label this year any kind of value that we've manifested this year or embodied this year, it's been really being adaptable and nimble. That we thought that March would be the wildest thing that we would see, and it kept on going. And this year in the world of outreach, we had so many goals. We had plans to be at about a dozen different Pride events nationwide. We started the year in the UK and in Mexico, and we couldn't wait to get all the way through North America. This was going to be a banner year that came to a screeching halt, and y'all have shouldered that weight in some really beautiful ways. So as we were dealing with the pandemic, we were also missing on opportunities to celebrate with our LGBTQ plus friends and family. In the wake of that, we're struggling on how we can better serve BIPOC communities that aren't just navigating increased pandemic rates, but also societal injustices. And I'm curious if you guys would care to share from your perspective ways that you've seen this community inspire hope throughout these kind of competing clouds of chaos.
Yeah, I think internally we've been having a lot of conversations about how do we navigate that? How do we share our support? What does that look like in the mental health space, and understanding how various identities are part of mental health, that people experience things in different ways because of who they are, and because of the systems and the societal things that exist in our world. And so I think in some ways, I know people have talked a lot, especially at the beginning, about how, this is forcing all of us to slow down and think about other things. And, not that those weren't conversations we were having before, but we had more time for them, honestly, to be able to stop and say, how do we serve people specifically in specific identities when it comes to the content that we're creating, in the conversations that we're having, and how do we do that online when we can't do it in real life? So creating the space for that, which then I hope, as we are able to get back to being in person and sharing with others, that those things will translate into that as well. So I also, and Bianca, you can share a little bit on this too, but I've appreciated her thoughts, particularly on helping our community response team think about things like intersectionality and how we're having those conversations, how we're responding to people, making sure that we're paying attention to things that people say in their comments that can give us clues as to who they might be, even if they aren't fully open about that, so that we can make sure we're pointing them to resources that are more specifically for that identity, or for that will help them navigate whatever it is that they're facing, with those things in mind, understanding the filter and the perspective that comes with that. So.
Yeah, I definitely echo all of that. Thinking about intersectionality is a really crucial way that we have been able to be part of these conversations, because they don't exist without that ideal. And as a queer person of color, there's no way for me not to think about that. So to be able to bring light to that in these conversations about mental health, I think one, exposes a lot of people to the idea of what intersectionality is, but helps those people who live in those intersections feel seen. And when they feel seen, when they know that we not only are like validating them, but that we care about them and we want to uplift them, then that's how they connect to the message. That's how they really see our work as part of their story, and then they share that. And so I think that's why people wearing our merch when they go to protest, or really being excited to wear our masks, because they feel like this message connects to them and the parts of their story that may not have been acknowledged before. And the fact that everybody, at least in our community, has been so supportive of that, I think really goes to show that like they're carrying this message forward in every single part of their life that they possibly can, because it's always applicable, it's always relevant, and especially this year, I think we need hope in every way we can get. So I think doing little things like wearing the mask, or giving somebody a shirt, or just sharing online has really been the most important ways to let people know that they're not alone this year.
Totally. Now, I love that sentiment that, if I say the phrase, all of you belong here, I'm saying all of you watching. I'm also saying you, individual watching this, all of you, every piece of you belongs here. And that's one thing that our communications team has just done so well throughout this year, throughout this season, is in sharing stories and really taking these big issues and microscope on it, seeing what it looks like with skin on it. So just this year, we've been able to share over 104 stories on our blog. We were able to complete our 3rd season of our podcast. That was 18 episodes there. And through the sharing of these stories, I guess on a more philosophical level, I'm curious what you all think about why our stories of mental health are so important right now.
It's a very big question.
You got 4 minutes, so
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I'm
no.
as long as you need.
It's funny actually. I'm a big fan of Time Hop, and scrolling back through previous social media memories, and one of my posts from a few years ago in the last couple of days was wanting to have a job where I got to use the power of story to connect people to powerful ideas and change the world. And that was before I started working for To Write Love, and now here I am. So
how it started, how it's going.
Exactly. But I think, for me, story has always been the way that my mind has shifted. I've changed my mind based on the stories that I've heard from people. Data is helpful, but I'm not a numbers person. I'm a words person. And so knowing the people behind the numbers, knowing that the numbers represent specific people with specific stories and the way that they're experiencing the world, that's what's shifted my perspective. And so I think that's true for most of the world. And so being able to have stories that help people know that they aren't alone in whatever it is that they're experiencing. And then B, for people who maybe need to learn more about what does it look like to live with anxiety? What does it look like to live with bipolar disorder? There are a lot of different ways that eating disorders show up, and a lot of reasons why people struggle with them. So being able to hear those stories as opposed to maybe just some of the dry facts about something, I think really helps people to be able to connect and say, like, even if the specifics are different, there can still be aspects of your story that can help me understand my story or help me understand someone else in my life and maybe what their story is looking like, and helps us to connect in those ways. And again, it's a way to be able to do that. It's nice when we can do it face-to-face and in conversation in the TWLOHA tent or elsewhere, but being able to do that online through the blog and the podcast, I think particularly with the podcast, we've had so many comments from people who just find it helpful to listen to those stories and have gone back and listened to them over and over, or when they need a reminder from something that somebody said, so I think that's been the power of that.
And I'd love to, piggyback on that for those watching this, for those that are sharing this. If you have a particular angle that you think that we should be investigating, or a particular story or a particular intersection that you think we should shine a spotlight on, send us an email. So send an email to info@twloha.com. We're busy planning what our content strategy is going to be for 2021, and your input matters to us. But before we get out of here, Bianca, I'm going to kick the last question to you. What would you say to people who want to help make a difference online today and into 21?
Oh gosh. I think aside from the donations and the financial support, I think relating to what Katie was saying in the last question about stories, sharing your story or any bit of it that you feel comfortable really, really does have an impact. I mean, stories connect us. And in a year where everybody is isolated, everybody is polarized, there's just everything is different. We need stories to be able to find our way back to each other. And if you share your story, if you share maybe what you struggled with this year or the triumphs that you experienced, then that might be the bridge that connects somebody else to the hope to keep going. Or it could be the bridge that reminds somebody that it's okay to reach out for help. So if you want to be a part of this movement, your money isn't the only way to do it. Just talking about your experience, talking about why mental health matters, talking about how it's okay to talk about these things, that I really can't think of a better way to share hope and to be part of really what Giving Tuesday represents.
And I can't think of a better way of answering that question. So Bianca, Katie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your hard work. You're loved, you're missed, and I can't wait to see y'all hopefully very, very soon.
Bye. I'm going to go back behind the scenes now.
Executive producer hat goes on now. Awesome. So we're going to bring Lindsay back on for a quick update on what's happening in fundraising world. Ooh, you are muted.
I was muted. How many times have you made that mistake this year? I wish I could keep track.
Me, 0.
Oh yeah,
I'm
perfection.
I should mute myself way more.
Okay, so I just got a quick update. We have $850 to raise before we hit that goal of raising $3,500 before the end of our hour together. So we started at 11 a.m. We are going till noon, and we hope to be able to hit that goal so that we can give away some things. We want to give away a To Write Love on Our Arms shirt to folks watching on Facebook, watching on Twitch, watching on YouTube. And the way you enter to be a part of this is to comment, is to say hi, ask us a question, just join the conversation in those threads. We will choose a winner from each platform to make sure that you get something special for the holiday season, to remind you of the hope that we are holding on to as we look to into the new year, frankly. And I love that term, the new year. I think we're all kind of holding on to that concept. But for folks who are just joining us, I want to rewind a little bit and give you some big updates as far as why is To Write Love live right now? What are we doing here today, Chad? It is Giving Tuesday. It is a global day of generosity, and it also kicks off the annual sort of end of year giving. But generosity extends beyond financial means. If you are in a position to give today, we would encourage you to do so. Our friends answering the comments have put in links to where you can donate. If you're on Facebook, the great news is 100% of that donation is going to come straight to Write Love on Her Arms. And Facebook, the company, is also matching donations up to $7 million. You can give if you're watching on YouTube. There's a donate button there, or you can check out the link to our website. If you're on Twitch, the easiest way to give is to head over to our website and give there. All of that is kind of helping us reach that mid-day goal of getting to $3,500. And once we get to that goal, our eye is sort of at the end of the day, right? It's to hit that $10,000 today, which sort of ramps up and gears us and positions us to sort of meet that overall goal. We have so many goals. I think shout out to Kat. So many goals. We really are hoping to get to $175,000 raised before the ball drops. Are they doing that this year? The ball drops
somewhere. There must be a ball dropping.
An interesting conversation and aside that there's like a bunch of towns with a lot of strange like things that drop. I think someone said there was like a cheese curd that drops, or like a milk, like someone on our team was telling me that there's all these like little micro ball drops, but they're all separate things that come from the sky and go down at midnight. Anyway, that's an aside. I guess I'm just looking forward to the end of the year here. So we're on our way. You could comment. Yeah, Katie, I think this was Katie. Thank you. She just reminded me. Pennsylvania has a weird one: pickles, shorts, and strawberries. So there are different types of drops that happen to welcome in the new year. All that aside, we are also here today to talk about the impact that you all have had on this year, on a year where conversations about mental health needed to be at the forefront of an unprecedented pandemic, of unprecedented, like just civil oppression that is being brought to the forefront of so many conversations. And so mental health is a key component, because ultimately we're human, and that's a part of who we are. So all that to say, we are excited to kind of keep you updated. We got to talk a little bit with our comms team, who is fabulous and wonderful. Thank you so much, Katie, Bianca. And we're going to bring on here in a second a newer member to our team. Her name is Brianna Haggins. She is joining us as our Find Help Program Manager. There she is, Bree. Hey, welcome.
Hi, guys.
You are live, and we invited Bree because we really wanted to have her share some of the amazing points of connection that were made this year through To Write Love on Our Arms Find Help tool. And then we'll also touch on sort of our scholarship program. So for people who are tuning in and do not know about this, I would be shocked that you don't know about this, but we have what's called our Find Help tool. And a little bit of background about the Find Help tool. I hope our team is also maybe dropping links in there to the comments so people can find the website. But essentially the Find Help tool is something we launched 2 years ago. And wow, has it been 2 years? I think it's been 2 years, Chad. My goodness.
TwitchCon was so long ago.
Yeah, and essentially the tool allows people to look for mental health resources in every zip code in America. So if you're at our website, you're going to see this Find Help tool where you enter the level of care you're looking for. Most people start with counseling, and Bree, you'll touch on that here in a minute. You enter your zip code, you press search, and it's going to bring up a list of mental health providers that are in your community based on geographic distance and relevance to what you're searching for. And our whole goal with the Find Help tool, if we zoom out, is to really make the journey from saying, I need to find help, to finding that help as short and as easy as possible. And so anyway, I'm really excited, Bree. You are here to tell us a little bit, give us some updates about what this year has looked like in the Find Help world.
Yes. So this year so far, we've had about 35,000 program searches through the Find Help tool. We've had a total number of about 15,000 people actually use the tool. So those numbers just go to show that we have multiple people doing numerous searches through the system. We recently did a short survey for the Find Help tool, and we found that 8 out of 10 people who use the tool have found a resource that they found useful.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
And 6 out of those 10 people have actually followed up with those resources.
Yeah, that's terrific. I mean, to think about, you know, from the beginning, To Write Love on Her Arms was about making it accessible for people to find resources, connecting people to the help that they need and deserve. And we used to do this when we'd show up in a new city, and Chad knows this very well. We would have our team research some local options, and they would be printed out on a piece of paper. And we would give those to people and hope that they would hold on to them, that they would use them as a resource. And as events have changed and we're not able to be, I feel so proud that we get the chance to still be a part of people's journeys, because there's a home on our website for this tool, for their process of saying, you know what, the stories that Katie and Bianca are helping share on social media, that's my story, and I need help, and I'm realizing it, but what does that look like? And then to know that they can come to our website, TWLOHA.com/findhelp, and then find that tool, do those searches. 15,000 people have taken those steps. Our former staff member and team member who's actually helping out here on the Twitch, Aaron, used to talk so much about how we should honor that step, how we should honor that step forward that people make, and how, and Chad, maybe you've even said it, how sacred that is to just be entered into that journey with them. And so I love that you get to share those numbers. I love that we get to talk about people actually finding resources in their community. What are some things, Bree, if people are new to hearing about the Find Help tool, what are people looking for? What is like the kind of most common thing that people might be using the Find Help tool for?
I would say probably individual counseling is one of the top searches that we have. We also have a lot of people looking for support groups, especially with everything going on right now in the world. And also added COVID. So individual counseling, support groups, and COVID will probably be the top 3 right now. But we also do have a lot of people look for like group counseling, so couples counseling. I've seen a lot of people search for that in their area. So
yeah, that's awesome. And that's definitely one place that we encourage people to start, right? It's, if you don't know where to start and you're looking for help, look for counselors, because a counselor is going to really be that in-person tool for you to say, hey, what are my options? What can I expect from this experience? Or what are some other options? And we love that people can even look for support groups, because you start to realize you're not the only person, right? And that's community, and that's an opportunity to step into care. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Now I got a question as well. I mean, I don't need to convince anyone that's watching this, anyone that's in this stream, that we have a long way to go as a society on how we discuss mental health challenges and how we access help for those challenges. And I think it's one thing just to say that, yes, hope exists. It's another thing to say, hey, here are the places that can offer some sense of hope to you. And that's what the Find Help tool is there to do. But at the same time, we aren't great at acknowledging what is still difficult about these processes. It's completely different than talking about car trouble with someone else at your place of work or someone in your family. We don't often talk about the struggles on what it looks like to get proper care, the care that we deserve. And I think for some of us, we incorrectly internalize some of these challenges and saying, maybe it's a personal problem. Maybe this is unique to me on how difficult it is to find help. So just to kind of rip off the Band-Aid on that myth, Bree, I'm curious, from what have you seen as some of the biggest challenges that people encounter as they navigate finding a resource that fits them?
I would say just trusting the process. Like you said, it is a process, being able to get connected with a therapist to, find that perfect fit for you. And yeah, we have the Find Help tool, but sometimes, like I said, sometimes we do have people who will go to the resource, they'll find someone, but, they may, take a few steps back because they aren't ready. We have the scholarship, which we'll talk about a little bit later. As a scholar, am I going to get approved for the scholarship? Do I, follow through? So just trusting the process that, help is real, especially for myself, coming from my cultural background. We didn't do therapy. We didn't talk about it. I recently got to see my grandfather for Thanksgiving, and I told him I was in counseling, and he was like, "Why? What are you in counseling for?" So that just goes to show just a challenge is trusting the process, that it does work. I would say another challenge with the Find Help tool is just still getting resources for certain specific areas. When we did the recent survey for the Find Help tool, some people did say when they were looking for resources in their community that it was kind of scarce. So like Lynn said, the tool has only been up for about 2 years now. So we are always constantly adding new providers every week, every month. And even if an individual has a program or a provider that they would like to recommend, they could always go to the webpage and suggest a program to add there.
Yeah, and Bree, that brings up a really good point, because I think I saw someone in the comments talk about the access that they have in rural areas to mental health resources. So we know that there are what are called mental health deserts, where essentially there are not mental health providers like physically in your community. And so one, I don't want to call it a silver lining, but one thing that has changed with the pandemic is that ability for telehealth or telemedicine, and for providers who do not live in your area to take you on as a client. Typically, a provider might be licensed in a state. So if you live in a state, it's great to kind of expand your search, and you can do that on the Find Help tool. So take it from the 20-mile radius and expand it out, so that you can kind of zoom out and then contact that person. A lot of people are sharing that that's the way that they're doing all of their counseling, because that is a safe way to do it. And it also provides more access. So if that is something that you've been thinking about or having a challenge with, we want to encourage you, like Bree said, that it's a process, it's a relationship. Counseling there are many forms of that. And so we would encourage you to not give up on that journey. And then I would just say, reach out to us, reach out to Find Help at TWLOHA. That's where you can get connected with Bree directly. She can help you kind of troubleshoot. You can share a little bit about your challenges, but don't hesitate, because we want to walk people through that journey. So thanks for mentioning that, Bree. That is super meaningful to a couple people who are actually watching right now. And then Chad, we want to get to a couple more things. So I'm gonna real quick, I just hope it's okay to skip ahead a little bit. I did want to mention two things. One is an announcement. So I'm sorry, I'm the announcement person. We are $325 away from being able to do our giveaway, meaning we'll have raised $3,500 by the end of this hour. So if you have yet to give, please give. Any amount helps. Thank you for allowing me to interrupt our segment here with a quick announcement. And then the second thing is, if you are finding that the Find Help tool is not specific enough, there are filters. And I just wanted to mention that quickly, because I want to be able to share a little bit about our scholarship program before our time comes to a close. So real quick, if you're in the Find Help tool, there are what are called income filters and personal filters. Once you are in a zip code, you can choose personal filters. And there are things like sexual orientation and identity filters. There are income filters, there are race and ethnicity filters. Those are things that can help you more quickly get matched to a provider that may say, I work specifically with the Black community, or I work with LGBTQ. So please make sure that you know that those are there if you're using the Find Help tool. And I wanted to mention that we probably will go a little bit over our noon time slot, because we got some other big updates about our scholarship program, which is a huge part of the work that we've done. From the very beginning, it was making sure that people could afford resources, that they could afford the help that they needed. And it started with one person, and now we've been able to serve thousands of people, eliminating financial barriers. And Bria was wondering if you could kind of give us an update for this year specifically with our scholarship program.
Yeah, so total, we've been given more than $205,000 this year. We've been able to sponsor 2,600 individuals for counseling sessions and 6,480 hours of group therapy for 673 people. So big numbers.
Yeah.
And just to interject there, like, even then, that is just the tip of the iceberg with the impact. Like, Bree, thank you so much for sharing a bit about your story, about your conversation at Thanksgiving. But the reality is, one person seeking help does not mean that just one person is being served. That this becomes a way to model proper self-care within our communities, within our families, within our workplaces. So yes, that's been 2,600 individual counseling sessions, but like my heart is leaping at thinking just how wide that can continue to spread out, how more conversations about showing how accessible help can be, you know, and connecting people to those resources. I just love that.
Yeah, and I would just say, the scholarship is still open. We are still accepting applications. Bree is still hard at work getting people in the door with counselors, even up to the ball drop. So if you are a person who is facing a challenge where you don't think that it's going to be viable for you, maybe you're underinsured or not insured, or maybe you just don't have any margin this year, please reach out. Please commit to filling out our application that can be found on the Find Help page. Our team is going to be dropping that in comments under the apply section. We want to give away that money. Our World Suicide Prevention Day campaign, Bree's repping the shirt, that raises money for this program, and you guys just really went above and beyond this year in helping us raise a terrific amount. So we are looking to help support more people. And then later in the year, hopefully before the end of the year, we will have some additional updates about some cool opportunities for some non-traditional mental health services that will also be able to open up. But we're going to keep that announcement a little bit later. And Bree, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for caring so deeply for every person who sort of reaches out and walks towards the help and hope that's real. So thank you so much for being a part of our team. And thanks for joining us today on Giving Tuesday.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, Bree.
Bye. Okay, so we, again, let's see, it's 4 minutes. 4 minutes till noon, Chad.
We gonna get there?
Are we going to get there? If you have not given, today is a terrific day to give. $100 to go. Am I screaming? That's great.
Yeah, I can hear you through the door through my headphones. But I mean, that's amazing. I'll be honest, I didn't think we were gonna get within $100. I was hoping that I would keep a shirt on the shelf in there, but we might not have to.
We want to give away some shirts. We want to give away a shirt to someone on Twitch, someone on Facebook, someone on YouTube. So if you have yet to comment, leave a comment, share this live, share the fundraising page, make a $5 donation, make $100. Let's get to that goal. We are hoping to
Tell
be
us
able to
what totem drops in your neighborhood.
Yeah, we've got 3 minutes. This is the closest I've ever been to being like on an NPR like fun drive, you know, the ones where you always turn off. And it is riveting. It is like I'm on the edge of my seat. So this is exciting. Somebody in
the race in really slow motion.
I know. Okay, so we have a couple announcements, but I'm going to keep reminding you we have less than 3 minutes to hit that goal, and we would love to do that. So if you can give any amount today, please give. We are going to be back live at 7 p.m. We're going to be doing something a little different. The morning, we wanted to focus on the impact that everyone, $4 to go. You guys, who has $4? Who can, can somebody donate $4 so we could just give away some shirts?
I think we throw money at my computer. And,
yeah,
and
does that count, Kat, if we just throw $4 in coins? I think we can do this. So in 2 minutes, we have got $4 to go. You guys are incredible. You are generous. You are the reason that we are here today. Your generosity throughout the year, your generosity with mental health conversations, your generosity with yourselves right now. Like, that is why we're here. That's what we're doing today. We're going to give back a little bit to you later today at 7 p.m. Our live is going to be a little different. We're going to focus on sharing some of the creative stuff that gets us through the year. So we've got JP Sachs, Grammy-nominated JP Sachs, joining us for a conversation. Tiny Ingram, a wonderful dear friend of the organization, poet, she's joining us. Emily Vu has a special message, an amazing artist that we met this year, right, Chad? A new relationship for us. And our good friend, Stefan Montesarin, who is a mental health counselor. We're going to tee up the conversation with sort of the mental health heart and soul. He does a terrific job. And Jamie Twarkowski, the founder, is going to join us as well when we chat with JP Sachs. So it's going to be a really great hour. It's going to give back to you. It's our generosity to share their gifts with you. So I'm
$4 for 4
Did we get it? We got 1 minute. Did we get it?
More than 4 hours.
Update us, somebody.
Well, in the meantime, as we're getting those updated numbers, a lot of people will not be winning a free shirt today, but that's okay. We still have plenty of merchandise No, because like
No, that's a good point.
Yeah. So I wanted to show off some things that are brand new to the store. If you've been tracking with us through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that jazz, here are some of the pieces that you can apply that Hope 30 discount to get 30% off your order. So we have our brand new calendar.
It is beautiful. I'm so excited about it.
Boom. And we got some extra postcards. Not everyone's getting the postcards though, so I'll hide those. But yeah, so these are all some of our favorite quotes from things that we published this year, whether it was a late night encouragement or whether it was a blog or something said on the podcast. This thing is a literal work of art in that when the month's done, you can perforate the dates part and just hang it up as a poster. We've made it so simple for you. And then here's a piece that we've been dreaming about for a couple years now. It is finally in the cotton. It's our very own beautiful ugly sweater. Hope is ever present. So pick this out. We
want to hear who in the comments, who on the live is going to like an ugly sweater party, Zoom, gathering. We're gonna do one here. I'm kind of wondering how many of us are gonna show up in our own because it's actually cold enough in Florida to wear a sweater right now, which is amazing. But if you haven't grabbed one of those, that is a treat. That is a gem. Also,
we did it. We did it. We raised the money.
We're on our way. And not only that, but we're at 3,513. So a little extra.
Yeah, over a third of our goal for today. Y'all,
we're starting out this morning. We're rocking. I wanted to
begin in about 7 hours.
We are doing this again. I did want to mention some other cool things in the online store. We have been working a partner with Skull Candy. They are an amazing company that truly values this conversation of mental health. Every month they've released a new product line. This is not a part of that product line. This is actually a custom To Write Love on Her Arms. How would I say it? It is the Indie Evo, but it's To Write Love branded, and it says music is a safe place. I'm sorry, I'm not good at the product placement. It's got our logo on it. These are in our online store. It's a limited supply. Great Christmas gift, holiday gift, end of year, generosity to yourself gift. It is going to keep the hope in your ears alive this year. And so we just wanted to point those out. We are actually also going to be we're going to be doing a really great giveaway. We're super thrilled that we got to give away some shirts this hour, but come join us at 7 because when you comment, when you give, we're going to be giving away some of these bad boys. These are also custom Skull Candy Hesh 3s over the ears. We're going to be giving a pair away to every person who comments. We're going to do one in each of the platforms very similarly.
If you comment, you'll be entered into a raffle to win. We're not going to give one to everyone.
To be clear, that's not possible. But we do want to give away a couple pairs of these. These were custom made. We're super grateful to our friends at Skull Candy for partnering with us this year and bringing conversations about mental health into the place that we feel really comfortable, which is music. Music is a safe place. This is a reminder. So let's see. We are going to be joined again, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be live, Chad and myself. We're going to be joined by JP Sachs, Grammy nominated recently. It's amazing. Tanya Ingram, Emily Vu, Stefan Montesarin, and Jamie Turkowski. So it is a great time to, join us. Tune back in. Thank you so much to every person who has donated, tweeted, shared, commented, posted with a donate button, and people who right now, I know we can't maybe see this, but are texting friends who are taking time for themselves. They're being generous to themselves, who are sharing a little bit about why mental health matters to them today. That is a generosity that is going to continue to give as we help hope live on into 21. When you are commenting or sharing, remember that we got some hashtags. Giving Tuesday hashtag. Wasn't there a fun skit where they did like hashtag?
Yeah, Justin Timberlake. Hashtag.
Okay, I was like, I know I didn't make this up. Hashtag into 21. Hashtag Giving Tuesday. Hashtag we're on TikTok. if you want to find us on TikTok, at TWLOHA. Thank you so much for everyone who gave. Chad, thank you for being a part of this live with me. It is always great.
Thank you for saying thank you.
I'm going to thank you for your thank you, and then we're going to be thanked. Thank you to Bianca and Katie. Thank you to Bree. Thank you to our entire TWLOHA team. There are people behind the scenes that you do not see, but that are being a part of this conversation because we care about you and we care about making sure that this conversation moves forward into the new year. So thank you to everyone who's tuned in, and we'll be back in a few hours. Does that sound good, Chad?
Tonight, y'all. I love it.
All right.